Hi, my name is Andrea Bucket. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to talk about smoking pork. You might feel intimidated to try and smoke your own pork, but I'm going to give you some easy tips and tricks to get you started. Smoking is one of the oldest forms of cooking, and traditionally it happens over an open fire where you cook the pork over indirect heat and then allow the beautiful smoke from whatever wood you're burning to impart its natural flavor on the pork. Two things that are most important when beginning your smoking journey is time and patience. Any cut of pork works for smoking, from loin to tenderloin to ribs, but today I'm going to show you a delicious recipe on how to do smoked pork butt. The key is cooking your pork over indirect heat. So if you're doing this on a barbecue, you want to get the temperature of your barbecue up to 225 to 250 degrees and then maintain the temperature there. That can be the most difficult part. If you're doing it on a gas barbecue, you're going to get some aluminum foil, put 2 or 3 cups of wood chips in it, seal it in tightly, and then prick it so the smoke can be released into the barbecue. You're going to put that on the direct heat side. Then you're going to take your piece of pork and put it on the indirect heat side. Use a digital read instant thermometer inserted into your pork so you know when it's cooked. You're looking for your pork to be around 200 degrees when it is completely done. Anywhere between 190 and 205 is the sweet spot. This will ensure you get a super tender and juicy piece of pork. For our recipe today, I'm going to show you how to do a pork butt. This one happens to be bone in, but you could absolutely also do the bone removed. It just might take a little bit longer to cook when the bone is still in. About an hour to an hour and a half per pound for pork butt. I'm going to season up really simply, and we're going to start by putting a binding agent on the outside of the pork. You could use mayonnaise or you could use mustard, and my preference is definitely mustard. We're just going to coat this all over. The mustard's not going to impart a ton of flavor, but it is going to help the seasoning stick to the exterior of your pork. So you just want to get in there and then rub it all around to create a surface for your all-purpose smoking rub to stick to. Once the mustard is all over the exterior of the pork, we're going to use an all-purpose seasoning rub. Now, doing this on the exterior is going to help you achieve what smokers like to call the bark. The bark is a dark, chewy, spicy, and tangy exterior that's formed via what we call the Maillard reaction, which happens when proteins and sugars are heated and you get a gorgeous, delicious exterior crust. Now, don't be shy with your seasoning. Be sure everything is seasoned really well. You can buy all kinds of different rubs, and you can even make your own if you get a little bit adventurous. Now, you might ask, what kind of wood chips do I use to smoke my pork? There are so many different varieties available, from hickory, mesquite, cherry, apple. The list is really endless. And once you start smoking, you can start experimenting with whatever you like. But just go ahead and choose the one that's easiest to find. Smoke imparts so much flavor, and it creates over 100 different compounds to create delicious, complex, and unique flavors on your meat. The great thing about having a smoker is that it really allows you to keep a constant temperature without a lot of babysitting. We're gonna get our pork on here. It's at 225 degrees right now. We're gonna put this bad boy on there, right in the center. If you put this on a gas barbecue, you would want to put a sheet pan underneath the pork so it would catch any drippings. But in our case, we already have one built in. So using a digital read instant thermometer is key to make sure your pork is cooked to perfection. This is a bone-in pork, so you want to make sure when you insert the thermometer, it does not hit bone. We're simply going to take it and slide it right into the center and leave it. There's something in smoking that is called the stall, and if you've done any research, you've probably read about it. What happens is when you're smoking your pork, the temperature is gradually increasing, and all of a sudden it starts to plateau. The plateau is called the stall, and sometimes it can feel like forever before the temperature starts to go up again. One way you can sort of speed up the stall is to wrap your pork. This happens at 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So the first temperature you're looking at when you're smoking pork is 160 degrees Fahrenheit. At that point, you're going to wrap your pork tightly in heavy-duty aluminum foil or butcher's paper, insert the thermometer, put it back on the grill, and then take it to its final finishing point, which is 190 to 205 degrees. So we are at 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And like I said at the very beginning of this video, time and patience is what you need. This has been on here for 5 hours. We're gonna take it off and we're gonna wrap it. Now that the pork is wrapped, we're going to put it back on the smoker. Don't forget to reinsert your thermometer. Again, don't touch bone. And now we're going to finish it and take it to our desired temperature, again, anywhere between 190 and 205. So our patience has finally paid off. Our pork butt is done, but you still have to wait just a little bit more because you have to let it rest for at least 30 to 45 minutes. This will help it fall off the bone, juicy and tender, exactly what you were hoping for in a smoked piece of meat. The moment of truth is finally here. We are going to unwrap the pork. It smells super delicious. You can see, ooh, how much moisture is coming out of there, which means it's gonna be super juicy. Ooh, look at that. Now all of this moisture that's in here can go back onto the meat once we pull it apart. Let's just get this off the paper. Look at how tender that is. You can see how easily the bone comes out of there and how juicy this pork is. Using cuts of meat like a pork butt really takes advantage of the low and slow smoking process. That intramuscular fat and collagen really has a chance to break down and become a beautiful, tender piece of meat. It's a great way to take an advantage of those economical cuts. Now, if you want to keep it for the next day, what I would suggest is you break it up into larger pieces and refrigerate it. And then when you want to heat it up, heat it at about 300 degrees just until it's warm, and you can shred it to use on tacos, in power bowls, on buns. You can put barbecue sauce on it if you like, or eat it just as it is. It's tender and juicy, delicious smoked pork. You should make it.